Welcome to Through a Glass Darkly Radio. You're listening to us on United Public Radio, and the intro music was Mark of the Doomslayer by Karl Casey at White Bat Audio. So, welcome back, everyone. I hope you're all enjoying the very beginning of the holiday season, or the very beginning of the end of the holiday season, or the commencement, middle of it, or however you want to call it. But yeah, no Fruity Pebbles for me. But I do have hot chocolate, though. I will definitely be consuming or imbibing hot chocolate. Nancy, maybe. I don't know. Maybe. Yeah. Hot chocolate. So got it right here. All right. So the authorities are in the these are not the droids you're looking for phase. So we're gonna, enjoy and mercilessly kind of make fun of that. We're also in the let's seed the information environment with as many fake videos as possible so that we can destroy credibility. I saw another glowy today that was cutting videos in a specific way to discredit Travis Taylor, which was fun to watch. Travis was obviously getting wrapped around the axle about it. I just on Twitter, it's Twitter, everybody talks to everybody. They just said don't feed the trolls. He's a glowy, just ignore him. Like he's just there to. So all of that has gone into hyper mode right now. Word has it that there was some sort of meeting or series of meetings loosely about this topic, but under the guise of something else related to, well, I'm not going to say too much because I don't want to get anybody in trouble. But a bunch of people went to the White House and presented on things related to UAP. And then when they came back, it was, never mind what happened. It's not it's not the droid you're looking for. Those were all drones. Everything's a drone. Everything else is misidentified. Everything is not what you see it is. So here's my take of what's going on right now. You have an outgoing administration that doesn't want to deal with this. They're just done. So they're just going to lie until they're out the door. They're just going to say, they're just misidentifying. We don't know what it is. Could be this, could be that. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know about plasma tech, but I mean, you could make balls of plasma in a lab using a microwave, apparently. At least that's what Brandenburg said last week. So, yeah, I think it's orbs. I think these orbs are plasmoids is kind of what the Russians called them way back in the Cold War. That could be one potential option. You just have you have 4 types of matter: solid, liquid, gas, and plasma. So what's, is it impossible to imagine that there's life forms that are made exclusively of plasma? I don't know. Let's see. Nefarious, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I don't even know what you mean, but you probably have one of those like snow globe type things that just show plasma instead of that, usual stuff. So, all right, so let's kind of recap where we are today with this situation. Okay, so, all right, so again, since mid-November of this year, there were numerous reports of UAPs, and now they're commonly, according to ChatGPT, they're commonly referred to as drones now. It's pretty funny what AI will pick up that is obvious to most people, but they just say it with, AI just says it with such, this just is what it is, right? So now UAP are commonly referred to as drones, because it's true. That's basically everything that was a drone or everything that was a UAP. They just called drones to just shape the perceptual environment, right? Because if everything in the sky you think is a drone, your brain's going to do something a little bit different than if everything you see in the sky is a UFO. Your brain's also going to see UFOs where it doesn't see UFOs. So it's pretty interesting stuff. So again, residents have observed large illuminated objects hovering over suburban areas, military installations, and critical infrastructure. And despite extensive investigations by federal and state authorities, including the Department of Homeland Security, run by the inept and ever detestable Mayorkas, and he sounds like if you ever played Dungeons and Dragons as a kid, the demon Orcus, only he's Mayorkas. He may be Orcus, the demon. In one of the abysses of hell, or not hell, but the abyss, I think they called it, right? So one of the planes of the abyss, the 666 planes of the abyss. Yeah, he may be Orcus, okay, Mayorkas. And the FBI, the FBI, the origins and operators of these UAP remain unidentified. So at the very beginning of this whole flap, when they tried to go with the insanely ridiculous story that it was the Chinese and Russians or transnational operators tied to them, they, as an example of that, they kind of floated out the newspaper article of a Chinese national that was flying a drone over Vandenberg. But of course, the mistake in floating out that article is that in the same article, it mentions that Vandenberg Air Force Base had a drone detection system that traced the radio signals back to the point of origin and promptly arrested the Chinese operator and detained him before he returned to China. So obviously, we have that technology and it didn't work in this case. So anyway, continuing along. In response to these sightings, the Federal Aviation Administration, FAA, implemented a temporary ban on all drone flights in New Jersey, aiming to mitigate potential risks and gather more information. Additionally, New Jersey Governor Phil Murphy has requested federal assistance to address the situation, emphasizing the need for public safety and transparency. Okay, which is laughable with the federal government these days. Experts suggest that some sightings may result from misidentified manned aerial craft. So let's gaslight them. Let's gaslight your own people, federal government. Good job. Satellites or celestial objects. You're only seeing Venus. You might be seeing Jupiter. Who knows? Could be Saturn, maybe Mars. Maybe it's the moon if you're exceptionally stupid. William Austin, a drone specialist, noted that many large drones were actually manned aircraft mistaken for drones. That's aircraft are routinely flying over people. They routinely fly over my house, okay? Because there's an airport nearby. Do I ever think they're UAP? Have I ever reported on this channel there's UAP? There was one time that I saw that was a little weird, and I reported it, and it was back in August of 2023. You can look at that episode with Jack Connor, or one of the two episodes I did with him. But even then, I was like, it could have been a spotlight. I have no idea. But it was definitely, most certainly, not a drone and not an aircraft, okay? So people, especially in New Jersey, when you have aircraft flying over everyone routinely. So, nevertheless, the frequency and nature of these reports have led to public concern and widespread speculation. Globally, UAP sightings as well have been on the rise, and this is like the worst possible source, but it still suits our purposes, so why not? The Pentagon's All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, AARO, for those who are more familiar with the counterintelligence op that it truly is, reported 757 UAP cases between May 2023 and June 2025, with 21 classified as true anomalies warranting further investigation. These cases involve unexplained aerial objects exhibiting advanced flight capabilities. So the increase in UAP reports has prompted legislative action. The U.S. Congress held hearings to examine UAP research programs featuring testimonies from former defense officials advocating for greater transparency and investigations into this phenomena. In summary, while UAP sightings in New Jersey and worldwide have garnered significant attention, many remain unexplained. Authorities continue to investigate these incidents to determine their origins and assess any potential threats to public safety or national security. All right, so in further news today, the USS Gettysburg shot down an F-18 Super Hornet. So the people who are, trust me, bro, we got this covered. We're shooting down our own aircraft now. Okay, at least that's the cover story. There's plenty of other things it could be, but I'm not going to speculate. That's what they're going with. I don't have any reason really to question it. I could come up with other explanations, but they're going with incompetence. So that's really embarrassing. And, you know, if the Russians really did it, that would give them an excuse to escalate their genocidal war in Ukraine. And they didn't go with it. So I'm guessing that that's not what happened. It's probably, you know, somebody. Well, let me stop. I'm making light of this now because the pilots were able to eject safely and were fine. But I mean, that's some incompetence, man. Like, you have one job as a missile operator on the USS Gettysburg, one freaking job, and you shoot down one of your own. It's the decline of competence. Again, just yet another freaking example. So, all right, let's take a look at some of these. Good Lord. Lots of comments. So I'm just going to dive in. Here we go. Okay, so we looked at Michael Schrott. Yeah, I think they're probably orbs or plasmoids or something like that. All right, I'm still getting through this. Yeah. Well, I mean, plasma is the next level above gas in terms of excitation of molecules, etc. Yeah, exactly. Puppet show in the sky. Yeah, you're not going to fly highly advanced, super classified human tech over the most densely populated country state in the United States. That's not something you do. Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, I can't wait for Tom Holman to come. Tom Holman is pretty awesome. I'm very happy about that pick, by the way. He's probably the only pick. I do like Cash. I do like the Kash Patel pick, not because I think Kash Patel is particularly any good. I just, the agency that he's taking over hates him, and that's good enough for me. I think it's fantastic. They're all calling the White House crying. Good. You've been systematically targeting American citizens for like the last 30 years at least. So have at it. Have at it, Cash. I'm rooting for you. All right, let's see. Wow. It's freezing, huh? Below freezing now. 32 degrees Fahrenheit. Yikes. Oh, I haven't heard anybody say Christmas lights. Yeah, that's the next one. They're just misidentified Christmas lights. Exactly. So we got to figure out what's going on with this stuff, people. It sounds like it's still going. The problem is, hey, good to see you, Philip. The problem, though, is humans. If this keeps happening over and over again for a while, humans are going to become habituated to it, and they're going to stop noticing it, and it's not going to be as effective. So what I'm hoping is that whatever's behind this escalates. And what I mean by escalate is we need to see some entities on the ground. We need to see some craft. We need to see some landings. I'm not saying that's going to happen, because I honestly don't know what these things are. They could be plasmoid. It could just be another form of life that's coming down, and they have some migration season or something every 20 years or 40 years or 50 years. I have no idea. But I just know it's not super advanced, hyper secret drones. No, no. You don't potentially panic your population by testing experimental drones that nobody freaking knows about. So that's not what I think it is. Oh, very nice. Very nice. By the way, I reached out to Major Dames and asked him, but if he'd appear on the show, but I never got a response. So if you could ask him, I'd love to interview him. Okay. Look, I think Elizondo's a good guy, but he's part of the show. Okay. Like, you don't get to do what he's doing and then just come out and spill the beans without authorization. So people of his ilk are trying to manage the narrative in a controlled disclosure. Okay. But since the orders have come down, probably from Jake Sullivan, if I had to guess, at the National Security Council, to just shut it down and not talk about this stuff and just kick the can down the curb to the next administration, that's what I think is happening right now. Okay, they'd already shut down several Yeah, but you don't. I mean, you don't make mistakes like that. Like, that's a career-ending mistake. Oh, what does he think the drones are looking for? Yeah, he's like the only remote viewer of the original crew, I think, that I probably haven't interviewed. I mean, there might be one or two more, but the famous ones. And I think the rest, the ones that I didn't interview, they're dead. So, like, Mel Riley was dead long before I started the show. Same thing with Ingo Swan. So, police hate him there for finding missing people. I think they would love him. Yeah, but again, the intelligence community is kind of independent from the simulated government, because that's basically what we live in. Like, the people who purport to be in charge are probably not in charge. Yeah, I heard that bullshit story. It's bullshit. Right. First of all, you wouldn't drones need to be closer to the ground in order to detect gamma radiation, right? And gamma radiation would very likely be shielded. Right? So you would also have an all hands on deck situation with other people who are. This was actually covered on the, believe it or not, on the Joe Rogan podcast, where they had why am I not remembering? He's the pilot from the USS Nimitz, one of the pilots from the USS Nimitz, knows people who respond to nuclear emergencies like that, and he said they're not spun up. So it's not a loose nuke. And the other cover story they were going with is there was like a level 3 nuclear material, like medical waste, which is not good, but it's not an emergency. So yeah, exactly. Ryan Graves, thank you. Yeah, Ryan Graves was said that on the Rogan show. So I wouldn't freak out about any of that. It's just a BS narrative, because we're spending a trillion, well, $800 billion a year on defense, and we can't even defend our own airspace at this point, right? So, and we just pay taxes to incompetence, and they just run everything to the ground and burn money. Yeah, it's basically broken arrow. Yeah, it's just broken. Well, it's not broken. It's doing what it's supposed to do, which is counterintelligence. Identify whistleblowers and shut them down. That's what it does. That's not the purported mission, but that's basically, in my opinion, what it does. Yeah, we'll see. Whatever's doing this needs to come out a little bit more forcefully, because people are going to get tired of the mystery, right? We're going to need to see some entities. Otherwise, no, real Broken Arrow is worse than Arrow, far worse. You don't want to be in that scenario. That's not good at all. So, I think this phenomena is going to keep happening, but the current lame duck government is just going to ignore it. Expect that. Oh wow. Yeah. Well, that's not good. That's not good at all. I mean, you realize you all have radioactive material in your home, right? Americium is in your smoke detectors. So, it's not a lot, things like that, but if you were to like extract it, and there's a story of a guy in New Jersey that did something like that, and he was obviously got radiation sickness. So, for obvious reasons. Yeah, absolutely. Absolute bananas, crazy, crazy, crazy stuff. So, I don't know where this is going to go, but there's like the word has gone out. Shut up. Stop talking about this stuff. Um just ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Sorry, I'm just like trying to clean up my background here, because it's not the way I like it. Here we go. No, I don't like that either. All right, let's see. Let's see if that does the job. Nope, that's even worse. That is even worse. Now I just have to kind of stay still for a moment. Here we go. There we go. That's the best I'm going to do. What are you going to do? They've come for the memes. Yes. Yes, they have. They most certainly have. And they're still not explaining what happened at Langley Air Force Base in December 2023. How you doing this year? Good to see you. Translucent blue. I bet you. I wonder. Now this isn't like Zoom. Zoom has like some weird settings that you can play with. But I don't think StreamYard does. I'm sitting here trying to find it, but definitely do not. All right. Anyway, I got to stop playing with my settings. Yeah, I think our intelligence community just downed it, like made it crash to kill the scientists. That's probably the most likely scenario there. Yeah, it would be freaky, but Yeah, that's what they're trying to do. That was intentional, Shelley. That's absolutely right. So Shelley asks, could the U.S. military be normalizing UAPs as all drones? Yeah, they're just trying to set a mental frame, right, where everything you see in the sky is a drone, and then that way, if you see a UAP, your mind's gonna, with using pareidolia, assume that it's just a drone. It's not something that is that might not be a drone, might be something else. So I'm just going to call them UAPs, orbs, because that's what they are. No, that channel Caper site. So Solite US expat is saying, did you watch any of the videos from that channel Caper site? Who has been keeping up with these drones? One lady was communicating with some plasmoid. It seemed to react to her. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised by something like that. This lady who was communicating with this plasma was talking about God and Jesus, and it seemed to react to her. Yeah, I mean, I think that's what Bledsoe was seeing, right? Uh, a lot of the orbs that he saw, I think he saw like a his dead dog or something like that. Saw the face in the orb. So he's got pictures and all that stuff. If you watch the interview I did, I have a bunch of those things at the beginning. Let's see. Oops. Yeah, that's basically what's happening. That's basically the containment. They're in containment mode right now. Yeah. The government's in containment mode, or at least the people who know that. All right. Shoot away, Philip. The question. Yeah, it is damage control, and they're just going to gaslight people, which is why you should never believe government. Like, I, I used to be super patriotic. I was an officer in the army, and like after the last 4 years, they've just undermined all credibility whatsoever. Like the way that maybe 4 to 8 years, the way that they handled the COVID outbreak, and like I don't trust the thing they say. Interesting. Interesting. Oh man. Yeah, you guys shouldn't remote view someone without their permission, but people are gonna do what they do. Yeah, who knows? Who knows? All right, that leaves kind of what's next for this flap. And let's see. Yeah, that's fair. Zombie plague. Fine. Or plague. Plague works. I'm not going to talk too much about the plague anyway. You can mention it once or twice. It's just you can't have a topic of discussion because the minders, the official censors are going to take stuff down. So, like, thank God, the group that came up with it, like the politically exposed person bullshit, and like just like it's basically the modern equivalent of someone forcing a member of a city state outside the walls of the city state, right? Like without any process, you put somebody on a list, and then they can't open a bank account. They got to move all their money into cash. Like, what kind of a sick fuck came up with that? It's just evil. Like, there's no other word for it, but just evil. Well, yeah, so Lisa Mislinsky is saying, not sure if anyone has noticed that the drone situation has become partisan. A lot of lefty podcasts and media are making it a right-wing conspiracy. That makes sense, though, right? Because the deep state, or not deep state, but the institutional bureaucracy controls the media, which is mostly, if not entirely, left-leaning. So, of course, they're going to be just reinforcing the regime's talking points. That's not surprising at all. Yep. Let's just let people say what they think, like what they want to say. Why are you so threatened? I mean, if you're actually threatened by what people say, then maybe they have something to say that's important. I mean, it's gotten to the point where I don't care how vile something is. If I see something censored, I want to learn more about it. Right? That's what they're doing. They're reinforcing the exact behavior that they don't want to reinforce. Right? By cutting something off, right? They're not, it's having the opposite effect of making it go away. It's making it metastasize in the darkness. All right. So, anyway, what I think is going to happen next is, depending on the geopolitical situation, if it continues to flare up, if you see the use of another Oreshnik in Ukraine, and or attackums on Russian soil, you're going to have problems. This thing will continue to flare up. Interesting. Yeah. So if the the situation continues to flare up, I think you'll get more of these sightings over more cities. I think they're pretty active in the Midwest right now, apparently, like in Nebraska, things like that. I think that if this is non-human intelligences, you'll probably start to see entities or projections of entities in various places. There may have already been reports. Well, I don't know. It may have already happened. The reports haven't come out yet. I don't know if that's the case, but if this thing wants to get, the phenomenon wants to get people's attention, it's going to have to up its game a little bit because it's too ambiguous right now. Oh, interesting. Let's see. Let me do some quick research. Oh, that's interesting. Earlier this year, in call it mid 2024, dozens of workers at Red Rock's amphitheater reported observing a bizarre UFO that lit up the sky for about 30 seconds before vanishing. But I don't see anything recently. At least, I mean, it could just be that it's just not out yet, right? It could be that reports are still haven't made it into officialdom in some way. Let's see. Yeah, if you see something, Rob, and you want to report it, this is the perfect place for it. Interesting. The thing is, there's a lot of fakes out right now. Yeah, it's where I am. It's super foggy too. It's extremely foggy. So yeah, people are just hoaxers are flooding the space with garbage. Same thing with intelligence professionals because they've gotten the order to shut it down. Again, I don't know for sure, but my intuition tells me that's kind of what's happening right now. So let's see if there's anything that is going on that what the heck? Yeah, there's just weird stuff that's coming out that it's not clear that it's for real. I'm just trying to see on kind of Twitter if there's any. Yeah, I mean, like, come on. There's a bunch of accounts that are just posting all kinds of stuff, and it is literally impossible to figure out if this stuff is real or fake. And I think that's the point. It's meant to get you. Plus, I think we have some meteor showers that, like the Geminids or something like that. Hold on, let's check. There's some meteor showers that are coming soon. That are going to confuse people too. Yeah, so the Geminid meteor shower, their peak activity was about a week ago. So the 13th and the 14th. And then actually right now, the 22nd through the 23rd, the Orcids are expected to peak around tonight, tomorrow night. So they typically produce around 5 to 10 meteors per hour under optimum viewing conditions. Let's see. Yeah, so they might have some hindered visibility. And the best times to see them are between midnight and dawn. So yeah, so you may get some confused reports around those things. Let's see. Hold on. I'm like way behind too. I looked away for like 2 seconds and now I'm way behind. Okay. Up. Hey, how you doing, John? Good to see you, brother. Merry Christmas. Hope you're enjoying some time with the family. We are living in some interesting times, my friend. I mean, what the hell is going on? Hey, by the way, if you want to jump on right now, just let me know and I'll send you a code. Like I have no problem. It's just me. It would just be me, you, and about 400 to 500,000 of our closest friends across multiple platforms. So if you're interested, just let me know right here, and I will pull up your email and just send you the link. So just let me know. People would love, and if you want to pimp your documentary, totally fine, totally fine. Let's see. All right, I'm just running through. Yeah, please, please. I mean, I understand. I understand why he would, but it would be good to get his story, at least for posterity, right? Because I got everybody else. I got a million stories from Lynn Buchanan, a million stories from Morehouse. Um, I got Angela Ford. Um, a lot of folks. I don't have Targ, but Targ really wasn't. He was just kind of designing the protocols. He wasn't really involved in doing the operational work. It's the operational work that I think is the most interesting. With the great ink. What do you mean? I don't know what you mean by ink. Oh, David Icke. David Icke. I still think I'm still small potatoes for him. I can reach out. I would love to interview David Icke, but I think I'm still small potatoes. Let me see. Just check an email right now. Find Johnny Stewart. I'm just gonna send him the link. Um, all right, just emailed him. We'll see. I'm happy to roll like that. Yeah, where is Pat? Why Pat's not on tonight? But well, maybe I don't know if he does. I don't know if he listens to live streams. I think he just, but he comments a lot on the pod. So anyway, what's everybody doing for Christmas? Huh? Yeah, I mean, who knows? His guess is as good as anybody else's, right? Given that most everything is a lie. So, hey, William, good to see you, my friend. I hope all is well. I hope you're enjoying the holiday season. All right, so what do folks think is next with these sightings? What's coming next? Anybody have any ideas? Hey, how you doing, brother? Good to see you. Everybody should check out Kill the Stigma podcast. Um, lot of good content there. How you doing, Jesse? Good to see you, my friend. Yeah, it's hard to tell. I saw your videos. It's really hard to tell because the issue is what you should try to do is I can't remember the name of the app, but I saw two things in my sky. I had a video of it, and they were slow moving. They appeared to be hovering and all that good stuff. And I just called a friend. We looked up stuff on there's like a flight radar site, and we identified both. They were two aircraft flying super high and just kind of moving slowly away from my location, but it's always good to check it against flight radar. What? Triple nubbins, I don't want anything to do with that. I'm not checking into that. I think that's one of those things you just don't go, otherwise you lose your junk. So I'm not going to read your statement for people on the radio, but basically it boils down to witch doctors and losing junk. So I don't want to go there. That Yeah, Solite US Expat is saying maybe the drone sightings will increase even more. Maybe a public display of one of these coming very close to the ground. Maybe during a live news broadcast of some reporter reporting. Yeah, I mean they could do that in my backyard. I'll take a video, but it ain't gonna happen that way. Kill the stigma. Are you sure they weren't? Because they were in a line. My mind, the next place it goes to is Starlink. The Starlink has those trains that go across the sky. And if you have you ever seen it? Mm. Okay. Yeah. If you've seen what a Starlink looks like, then yeah. No, I got it. I get it. Okay. Because that's key. If someone's never seen Starlink, then yeah. Yeah, these things apparently are all over the country. I haven't seen anything yet. I just had the weird thing in the cinnamon smell, whatever that was. Yeah, I also don't like that the federal government's immediate reaction was like legislation to further restrict our ability to fly drones. Like, oh, I have. So, he finally responded to me on X on I on a DM, and then he sent me his email. And we're talking about James Fox, and I sent him an email asking if he could, if he'd be available for an interview. I haven't heard back yet, but he's probably processing much bigger channels right now, and he might just wait for a little bit before he eventually gets to me. But that's fine. Yeah, I don't think it's Bluebeam. There would be too many people involved with it. It would be too big a conspiracy to keep, and someone would very likely kind of let things go. I do too. I think I agree. I think they are UAPs. Now, what they are beyond that, I have no idea. I could come up with a bunch of different explanations or theories, but they're just theories. There's not enough evidence. It could be these plasmoids, which are just another form of life that's already on Earth. They could be extraterrestrial. They could be interdimensional. They could be angels and demons. They could be the souls of the dead. I have no idea. At this point, I'm just speculating. Oh yeah, they're definitely trying to sabotage the incoming administration. Yeah, I don't think any of them are ours. And I'm pretty sure about that. Yeah, yeah, I think the plasmoids. Yeah, yeah, there might be some subset that are ours, but they're not fancy and they're not like top secret. someone would misidentify them. Yeah, I think what's going on with Sands is I think he's legit. Some of his stories are legit, and I think people in the intelligence community don't want him talking about what he's talking about, so they pressured him to make some stuff up. And because he never said anything about having to kill a non-human entity on my podcast when I was interviewing, or even in private. I think somebody forced him to say that in order to undermine his credibility. So, but maybe it is true. Maybe he held back. I don't know. Oh yeah, we certainly have classified craft, but I don't think we have classified anti-gravitic craft. Right? We may have like the Aurora and stuff like that, but like hypersonic stuff. But that's about it. Well, what's 4chan saying about what? Yeah, maybe, but if someone threatens to kill your family, sometimes you have to make choices. Because he has been getting a lot of pressure lately. Jeff Selver. Let's look up Jeff Selver. Who is Jeff Selver? Let's see. Okay, so I'm just going to read. So he's a Canadian author and experiencer known for his detailed accounts of alleged interactions with gray aliens. Holding a Master of Business Administration, Selver previously worked as a financial advisor and motivational speaker, focusing on mindful leadership and meditation. His life took a transformative turn when he began recalling obscured moments or memories of extraterrestrial contact events spanning 1993 to 2017. In his book, The Rising and the Alien Plan to Build an Enlightened City on Earth, Selver narrates 26 contact events with gray aliens. He described a pivotal experience in 1997 referred to as The Rising, which he interprets as an agreement with these beings to quote-unquote discover his soul. This event led him to sell his possessions and embark on a journey of self-discovery, including extensive travel and deep immersion in nature. Selver has also authored the Rising Workbook, How to Create Your Own Rising, a practical guide aimed at helping individuals to expand their consciousness and prepare for potential extraterrestrial contact. The work draws from his experiences with gray aliens, Vedic philosophy, and corporate training in mindful leadership. Beyond his writings, Selver shares his experiences and insights through his YouTube channel, where he discusses various aspects of his alleged extraterrestrial encounters and related spiritual teachings. Selver's accounts contribute to a broader discourse on extraterrestrial contact and human consciousness, offering a unique perspective on the potential implications of such experiences. For a more in-depth understanding, you might. All right, so he's on an interview. I don't even know what this account is. So, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, maybe that could be an interesting interview for sure. All right. Let's see. Where am I? All right, we have less than 1 month, one more remaining month, maybe to Inauguration Day. Do you think they will try to pull? Yeah. I think Jamie Raskin is going to try his 14th Amendment nonsense, but we'll see. Oh, okay, that must be his YouTube channel. Yeah, probably. Wow. So I'm Cold said I've seen a huge plasmoid above the swamp in broad daylight. It was huge, the size of an aircraft carrier. All right, I've got a question. Why do you think Karl Nell mentioned the Bronze Age collapse? It is true when an advanced civilization meets a lesser one, it's not good, but the Bronze Age and the Sea People suspect. Yeah, that's one of those things where you had all these civilizations in the Bronze Age, and then this group called the quote unquote Sea People show up, and they just kind of vanish from existence. I don't know. Kill the Stigma podcast. Where did you see that? Where did you see those comments that he made? Because I did not see those comments. I'd be interested in hearing more about that, because that's one of those strange historical mysteries about the Sea People, right? So it is pretty strange. It was in Salt Conference. Yeah, I don't recall seeing that particular interview. Well, let's see. Yeah, it sounds like it might be recent. I mean, there was a recent interview that Jesse Michaels did with him, but him and Diana Walsh-Pasulka, but who knows? Who knows? Yeah, send me the link. Just send it to me on Twitter, because I don't think I can really cut and paste here. But yeah, send me the link and I'll play it right here. Actually, that's a good, efficient way to do it, actually. So I'll just wait until that comes, and then we can play it. I should be playing more links and stuff like that. I'm just super conservative about. Yeah. I'm just going to check my Twitter very quickly. All right, let's see. How can I do this in a way? Oh, man. Freaking. Let me just mute this. I'm trying not to curse. Like the instant I pull this thing up, it's gotta have a freaking commercial, which I have no interest in, providing free commercials to some product that I absolutely cannot stand. All right, let me play this nonsense quickly, and okay. Let's give me a moment. Come on. All right. All right, let's hopefully everybody can see that. All right. And oh, that's long.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for coming this evening. I'm glad that we are the final talk of this year's SALT event. And I'm very excited to discuss
10 minutes in? Okay.
What I consider to be one of the most consequential questions of our lifetime, which is,
just give me a second.
This idea of catastrophic disclosure, maybe disclosure may be forced upon us. How do you think about that?
So the situation is usually thought of as a binary state. It's like an all or nothing. And people have sort of argued this, but anybody paying attention realizes the government has already indicated that unidentified anomalous phenomena are real, they're not ours, and they're not our adversaries. The Pentagon has said that. Like for people that are paying attention, like that shoe already dropped. So for a lot of people, they think that the second shoe to drop is this is non-human intelligence, and maybe the conversation stops there. Like the president comes out and says, there's non-human intelligence. The truth is that will precipitate this crescendo of other questions that maybe the government's not ready to answer, that will court, if not precipitate, potential negative ramification for society. And so as an example of this, I would actually point to something from the ancient past, the Bronze Age collapse.
Oh yeah, here we go.
So Eric Klein, Princeton University, 2015, wrote a very interesting book called 1177 BC, the year that civilization failed. And so this is well known to current scholarship. Within a single lifetime, all of the very effective ancient civilizations of the Bronze Age failed due to a confluence of reasons that are not necessarily fully understood today. So we're talking about Egypt, the Hittite Empire, the Minoan Empire, the Manasseh Empire, the Babylonian Empire. All these civilizations failed, never to return, other than, let's say, Egypt. And so these were highly sophisticated civilizations with highly developed infrastructures, highly developed administrative states. They were globalist, in a sense, very similar to today in terms of the known world, the known Near East. They were economically interdependent. They had both diplomatic ties and commerce ties. And yet these civilizations failed in a single lifetime because of stressors that these civilizations collectively could not address within the time frame. And so if we look at our society today, one might argue that it's similarly fractured, similarly under economic stress, similarly under cultural stress as well, fractured and fragile diplomatic situation. It mirrors very much this scenario.
Yeah.
And so for a responsible decision maker, that is certainly a factor.
And so I guess when you say that, are you implying that perhaps we as a society may not be ready for disclosure? Or are you saying that we may not be able to defend ourselves against this other force?
So there's sort of different viewpoints on, whether people are ready to, deal with this phenomenon.
It is kind of like
popular culture is kind of infused with this stuff. Roswell became a meme a long time ago. We got programs on ancient aliens, Skinwalker Ranch, all this stuff. I guess I would draw an analogy, though, for people that believe in a certain faith tradition, whatever that faith tradition is,
yeah,
and hold to that and subscribe to that in a very serious and devout way, and sort of pose the question, even for folks of that ilk, and I would count myself as one, if you're confronted with the reality of your religious belief system, like the reality of the metaphysical, an angel, a messenger from God, what have you, that's going to be a sea state change in your way of dealing with reality, right? Even though you already believe it, right? So it's one thing to believe and it's another to know. And I think in this context, this phenomena has the potential for an analogous effect, both on the individual and on society.
Yeah, but do you think that the phenomena, this non-human form of intelligence, represents a threat to humanity?
So this is a good question too, and some of the other folks have sort of framed things in that light. And I guess I would suggest that if the universe is governed by conservation laws, and it's probably reasonable to assume the laws of nature that we understand apply everywhere. We may have incomplete understanding, undoubtedly we do, of these laws, but they're sort of homogeneous and they apply throughout the universe. And so those laws are governed by conservation rules. There's conserved quantities. And so this reality really forces a Darwinian type competition in order to survive. And so it's reasonable to assume any other civilization that's evolved has come up through the same Darwinian evolutionary process. So I think it's naive to expect complete altruism until and unless you get to a state of post-scarcity, where you essentially have no,
All right, I'm going to stop it here because I don't,
kind of
I don't want to get some sort of
in this universe. And so in some sense,
copyright,
it's the economics of the future that are going to determine
I think this
whether
is fair
there's
use,
cooperation, competition, or some.
Okay. So while it was playing, I just did a little quick research on why that Bronze Age collapse happened. So this could just be an elite thing, like the elite keep talking about climate change. But I'm just going to go through it really quickly. All right, so the Bronze Age collapse, circa 1200 to 1150 BCE, marks a period of widespread societal upheaval and cultural decline across the Eastern Mediterranean and Near East, ending many prominent civilizations. The catastrophic event is attributed to a combination of interconnected factors rather than a single cause. Here are the primary contributors. So number one, we talked about this, climate change. So the evidence shows that pollen analysis and other climatic studies suggest a prolonged period of drought and cooling during this time. The impact of that was crops failed, leading to famine, resource scarcity, and social unrest. Key agricultural centers like the Hittite Empire and the Mycenaean Greece were particularly vulnerable to such disruptions. The second part of this is natural disasters. So earthquakes. The Eastern Mediterranean region experienced numerous earthquakes, possibly clustered in what is called an earthquake storm. Volcanic eruptions could also be part of this narrative. Some scholars speculate volcanic eruptions, e.g. in Iceland or other distant regions, may have contributed to climate change and tsunamis. Third, internal political instability. There's a decline of centralized authority. Many civilizations relied on centralized bureaucracies to organize trade, agriculture, and defense. As these systems failed under stress, local rebellions and fragmentation occurred. There's also an economic decline associated with that. The destruction of trade routes and economic systems disrupted interdependence among the civilizations of the time. Then, of course, you had the sea people, right? So invasions and migrations. We're seeing that today, man. We had 8 million people come here in the last 4 years of just in terms of illegal migration. You're seeing it in Europe with, folks fleeing Syria and kind of the, North Africa and stuff like that into Germany and France, et cetera, et cetera. Also Ireland, the UK. So we talked about the sea peoples. So one of the most debated factors in the role of mysterious quote unquote sea peoples, a confederation of marauding groups who attacked coastal cities across the region, including Egypt, the Hittite Empire, and the Levant. So their origin remains uncertain, but may include displaced people from the Aegean or other Mediterranean regions. And then, of course, mass migrations. The collapse of one civilization often triggered population movements, creating cascading disruptions across neighboring regions. Then you have kind of the fifth potential factor, loss of trade networks, dependence on bronze. Bronze production relied on a complex trade network for tin and copper. Disruptions in trade, possibly due to piracy, warfare, or economic collapse, could have led to shortages of this critical resource. Impact on societies from that. Societies dependent on long-distance trade, like the Mycenaeans or Minoans, suffered disproportionately. Then there's technological shifts. So the Iron Age emergence, the transition from bronze to iron tools and weapons, may have contributed to the collapse by altering military power dynamics and reducing the dominance of existing powers reliant on bronze. And then, of course, there's the pandemic hypothesis. Does any of this sound familiar? Some historians speculate that disease may have spread during this time, exacerbating societal stress, much like pandemics in later historical collapses. So the consequences of the collapse: civilizations lost, the Mycenaean Greeks, Minoans, Hittites, and many Canaanite city-states fell. Egypt managed to survive, but entered a period of decline. There's a dark age. Many regions experienced a loss of writing, cultural regression, and population decline, marking the beginning of a dark age. So the Bronze Age collapse illustrates how interconnected civilizations can be vulnerable to cascading failures when multiple stressors converge. So for what it's worth, who knows? All right, I'm just going. Yep. Just going through. Yeah, Germany is not looking good, I'll tell you that. I don't know. Who knows who the sea people were? Okay. Yeah, that's probably, they'll create their own uses, etc., etc., etc. So I don't know. We could be entering a period of stress. Right now with the runaway spending on the U.S. dollar, um, you have that, and then you kind of go in, you raise tariffs. You're going to have inflation. You have inflation, the dollar loses a ton of value, and you have issues. So we're still in a time of dramatic instability. So hopefully we are able to get through it without much of a without any problems, but you never know. Yeah, there's a lot of pre-Trump chaos, that's for sure. So hopefully we get through this pretty unscathed, let's just say. I don't want to say pretty easily, because that would be an issue or a problem. Yeah, I'm not bullish on Doge. I'm Yes, there's been plenty of flaps like this. I think 1952, 1954. And there is a connection. The connection tends to be we're either doing testing of like massive hydrogen bombs, open air testing, things like that, or we're pretty close to nuclear war. That's when these things tend to heighten. What's it at RN? I have no idea what you mean. I'm cold. Yeah, I don't think that permanent bureaucracy is that competent. They're just not. Oh, Dogecoin is at 32 cents. Yeah, the issue I have with the Department of Government Efficiency is you have people coming in who have absolutely no idea how government works. So also Elon Musk is effective because he's like a high level visionary. He's very much like a Steve Jobs, where he just keeps firing people until he finds somebody who works themselves to death to give him what he wants. Those people don't work in government. So he's just gonna, just cut, but he's not going to be effective at cutting in a way that doesn't cause a ton of damage. Like, look, I think it's better to cut than not to cut, but it's going to be ugly. It's right. You might cut half the DOE, and then suddenly we have one or two nuclear meltdowns in progress somewhere because we don't have we just fired the people who were managing the reactors, right? So I think they'll cut, but I don't think it's going to be done intelligently. I think it's just going to be with a like a blunt instrument. Let's see. Oh, that's weird. Yeah, I mean, Vivek's the same way. He's never worked in government, so I agree, Michael Kenny. The NHIs, he says the NHIs need to step it up. This is not 1952. I think they misunderstand what it takes to make their point in the social media disinfo mass distraction society. Yeah, we need to see entities. We need to see grays on the ground or something right? Like they need to make their presence known in a big way so that it is just undeniable. Like I'd be willing to host one on the podcast if they want to just stop by and don't dazzle me and make my mind break because they're so much more intelligent. I would love to interview them on the podcast, but that'll never happen. That's just not something that will happen. Who has it planned out? NHI's Astarov's alcove or somebody else? Yeah, exactly. Kill the Stigma podcast, who writes, cutting is a very, very sensitive and delicate issue. I don't know. There will be disruption and we need that, but it should be done it won't be done responsibly. It's going to be pretty crazy. Oh yeah, Michael Kenny, like mass fleets, they'll have excuses for that. Like we need like people on the ground or entities on the ground. Say more. So Astrov's alcove is saying, my friend with some DHS background saw some grays. Say more. I mean, let's see. Yeah. Is that the book, Gardens of Eden? It talks about people witnessing some people in black hooded robes spraying during the Black Plague. The author speculated that these have been met. Yeah, that's where the Grim Reaper legend came from that event, allegedly. Yeah, it's slow. I mean, it's been way too slow. Way too slow. Yeah, it's definitely very subtle and it's annoying. All right, let me get rid of this banner down there. It's probably driving people crazy. It's driving me crazy. No, where are the cattle missing? Hold on. Now I need to look this up. Oh, I think it was in Colorado, right? Let's see. Wow. Yeah, so here's specifically what happened. So, yes, there have been recent reports of missing cattle in the United States, particularly in Colorado. In early December 2024, approximately 180 cattle, primarily calves weighing between 500 and 700 pounds, were reported missing from Uncompahgre Plateau, southwest of Montrose, Colorado. These cattle belonged to multiple ranchers who had been grazing their herds on national forest land. Interesting. National forest land. Where have we heard that one before? During the summer and fall months. The Montrose County Sheriff's Office, in collaboration with the Colorado Brand Board, is investigating the disappearances. Given the large number of missing animals and the lack of physical evidence, such as carcasses, authorities suspect that cattle theft may be involved. The expansive grazing area, covering approximately 75,000 acres of public land, poses significant challenges to the investigation, especially with the onset of winter conditions hindering search efforts. Livestock theft, while not unprecedented, is relatively uncommon in this region. The estimated financial loss from these missing cattle ranges between $300,000 and $400,000, representing a substantial economic impact on the affected ranchers. Authorities are urging anyone with information regarding the missing cattle to contact the Montrose County Sheriff's Office at 970-249-9110. Maybe I should just call them and just ask about it. That would be kind of interesting. But I might piss them off, though, too. All right, let's see. Let's Yeah, I don't know. Like maybe if it were like 10, but 180, each of them between 500 and 700 pounds. Oof. Yeah, exactly. 180. I mean, that's nutso. I wonder if that's near the San Luis Valley. Actually, that's a good question to ask. How close? Interesting. So it's about 2.5 to 3 hours by car. About 100 to 150 miles southeast of the plateau. That's where the San Luis Valley is. So it's not that far from that, UFO hotspot. Yeah, exactly. The ETs have to eat too. When was this? I'm cold says that there was a massive pile of dead bodies, mutilated, found in the desert. Human or cattle? All right, I'm just going through this. Yeah, you got to be careful of those videos. There's a lot of stuff. All right. Yeah, but there were some missing interesting stuff. Any other weird news about what's going on? Yeah, Jack Sarfati said he saw a video of the gray alien talking. Yeah, you're talking about so Kill the Stigma Pod, dude. I know these things happen to humans, and Hill. That's too dark for me. Yeah, I think you're talking about mutilations, right? Yes, it does happen to humans. Or there have been cases. I think there was one in 1956 with like somebody Lovett or something like that. They cover that one, and it happens a lot in South America. Oh, crash retrieval, huh? And I think he was shown the video from a not U.S. but from like a European ally, is my understanding. Interesting. Yeah, I don't know. Like, why can't I ever see any of this crap? See nothing. Yep. Yeah, like abductions and human mutilations are like the third rails of disclosure, right? Or you can't touch them. No one wants to touch them. That's not dark enough, Gray Owl. Human mutilation's not dark enough, right? I mean, humans do that to each other. Yeah, he's still. I don't know. I like Jack. I think Jack's. He's got a big personality, and I enjoy that. Talk about the lizard people, lizard, as they say on the Y files. Yeah, I don't know. As the Germans would say, das weiß ich nicht. Yeah, that's true. We all love our steak. Let's see. Yeah, I doubt it. Vegan, it's just not healthy. People need protein. All right, so how do people think this is going to resolve? Think the collapse just going to end, or do you think it's going to accelerate? It's got to be a way to run polls, but I don't think I have anything like that set up. Yeah, I guarantee if there was a human mutilation video, it got yanked. That's almost for sure. And I'm just setting something up right now. Oh, it was cattle, not human. Yeah. I don't know if it would cause mass hysteria, but not even that would be that. I mean, that wouldn't scare me at all. It would be like, oh, there's humans on the moon. Interesting. So Astarov's Alcove writes, I was told there are sophisticated AI algorithms that filter through material. So if anyone posts a genuine photo, video of close-up stuff, it gets deleted and they get a knock on their door. Interesting. Yeah. Well, hopefully we get some more data coming in soon. Oh yeah, I heard about this too. More sightings over Japan. I don't know if they're legit. At this point, there's going to be a lot of garbage that floods the information space, which I said at the beginning. You're going to get a lot of just nonsense out there. Yeah, but I do think these things are going to continue, but they need to step it up. They need to do something to get more attention. Because right now it's way too subtle. Way too subtle. And the morons in charge of our government, it's very easy for them to just, there's enough people who still believe whatever they're told, that it's just going to be difficult to get through. Let's see. No, that somebody just sent me Cake Ranger on Twitter sent me. Well, that was a waste of $1,600. My drone ran away and said it wants to become part of the resistance. Thanks, Best Buy. I knew I should have gotten that extended warranty. Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. But yeah, I think we are in the midst of the Christmas cover up. So, Merry Christmas. It's not what you see in the sky is not UAP. It's Santa and his reindeer, according to NORAD. Let's see. Yeah, apparently they had they had a UAP buzz the ISS, the International Space Station. Yeah, I've seen it. It looks okay. I've heard conflicting views. For reports of the FBI taking videos down and knocking on doors. I wonder if the agent. Yeah, I can only imagine how I would react to that. I would basically said, "Do you have a warrant?" And if they said no, it's like, "Have a nice day. Good luck with what you're doing." Like, "Well, can I have a word?" No, I don't feel comfortable. Have a nice day. Good luck with you, whatever you're doing. All right, let's see. Well, yeah, there was also one that appeared over Barksdale Air Force Base, which is the home of the second bomber wing. Those are the B-52H aircraft that can travel 8,800 miles or indefinitely. They have an indefinite range if they do aerial refueling. But they're the strategic bombers that drop nuclear weapons on people. So it's kind of pretty interesting. Let's see. Yeah, definitely lots of interesting stuff. Well, let's look up. Let's look up. Where were the recent sightings or UAP sightings in Japan? I'm not seeing. Well, at least it's not. It's not in ChatGPT yet. So maybe it's on Google. Uh, yeah, I'm not seeing it in traditional news sources, but that doesn't mean anything. Um, yeah, I don't. I'm either neutral to Sam Altman or slightly negative. Oh, Tokyo, huh? Yeah, it doesn't appear to be in traditional media. Maybe it's on X. Okay, here it is. Okay, so yes, I cannot read Japanese, unfortunately. Let me see if I can. All right, yeah, it's it's not going to help. Fortunately, I don't speak Japanese. Yeah, yeah, it's that's the one. That's the one, Andy. Iwakuni Kintaikyo Airport, Japan. I probably butchered it, but yeah. There you go. Again, another U.S. military target, essentially. So, yeah, this phenomenon's not messing around. It totally makes sense. Has anyone seen the program yet, by the way? If they have, what do they think? And that's for folks who don't know what I'm talking about, that's the James Fox documentary. No comments, no. It's called The Program. It's pretty good. It kind of covers kind of the history of UAPs and why what's going on is real to some extent. It's pretty good for your relatives to see it who don't know anything about this stuff. The only big new kind of stuff is the Jason Sands stuff. Yeah, it makes sense. Oh man. Yeah, he's great at introducing new topics. So Pluto 2179 writes, I thought it was pretty good. As usual, Mr. Fox is good at introducing the topic to new folks. I direct my relatives to Jack Serfati immediately. Probably calls them schmucks. Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you, Gray Al. So Gray Al writes, yes, agreed. Jason Sands, and I thought the Through a Glass Darkly interview series with him was outstanding. Thank you, Gray Al. Yeah, there's definitely not much new. I think it's Jason Sands as most of the stuff, and then Hal Puthoff basically says yes, he kind of knows what's going on, but he can't talk about it because of his disclosure agreements, etc. So, just really not that surprising, to be honest. What else is going on with folks? What are folks doing for Christmas? Everybody's quiet. Everybody's super quiet. Oh, hold on. Yeah, who knows what the Yeah, probably the same one Lakatsky has seen. Yeah, he's so Michael Kenny writes, Hal Puthoff really bothers me greatly. He's a blatant gatekeeper masquerading as POTUS. Yeah. Having orphan party. Real analysis, like mathematics by Terence Tao. Astrov Zalkov, like the mathematics that people typically do right after they complete calculus. If they're like a math major or something. Well, I guess you do differential equations after calculus, but real analysis. Is that like mathematics you're talking about? Very nice. I'm cold. Very nice. Oh man, I'm sorry to hear that. Kill the Stigma podcast. Christmas is just depressing for me as I just got divorced. I'm sorry to hear that, man. It's not great. Okay. All right. So you're like a math major. It sounds like. Good for you. Good for you. My son is just started his undergrad. He's got through his first quarter at university and is studying physics. So far, so good. We'll see. Yeah, fair enough. You don't want to talk to him. There's like 400,000 people, 400 to 500,000 people on this. So understood. Yeah, math is awesome. Yeah, thanks for everyone's support on this. Oh my God, Astrov, you are crazy. Physics, math was never. I enjoyed math, still enjoy it. It was never super hard for me. Physics is hard. Yeah, I'm just waiting for. I'd love to see a craft. I've never really seen one, so I'm just lucky, I guess. I don't know. I do not know. But this disclosure stuff, it's going too slow. Way too damn slow. I'm starting to get a little impatient about it, to be honest. Because I'd rather be using this podcast to get people ready and get people acclimated and go through the transition of what that would all imply. But I'll probably be an old man at the rate this stuff's going. There was actually a video by Daryl Anka. Oh, that's a fair point. Kill the Stigma podcast. I could call you by your name, your first name, but I'm just going to say Kill the Stigma unless you give me permission. But I mean, sometimes the owls are just owls, you know? Maybe. I mean, I do see more owls than I think the average person. Like I see or hear them constantly. Yeah. So Killisabeth, he's just saying, I got that one crazy story with Sean and a freaking owl. Flew right by me, super strange. And then I tell Sean, he's like, yeah, normal happens all the time. I'm like, yeah, it happens to me all the time. Like I constantly see or hear owls, and people who interact with me often have owl. Just randomly will see one when they've never. It's probably because they just notice them. Could just be attention bias. Who knows? But yeah, I think owls are my favorite bird. Oh yeah, I definitely see more hawks than owls. There's no doubt about that. I'm cold. Like he writes, I see more hawks than owls. Yeah, I see hawks constantly, but they just They hunt during the day, and then the owls are night hunters. Interesting. So Michael Kenny wrote, I checked out a UFO book a few years ago, and the little old lady librarian told me she had a sighting up in Woodstock a while back, and a massive silent triangle slowly flew over her and her sister and then disappeared. She saw it clearly and could see external structures in the craft. Huh. So Astarov's Alcove writes, in my opinion, everything is like a divination reading. Doesn't have to be a deck of tarot cards. Owls are never just owls, but neither is any other perception. I see a lot of falcons and hawks. Yeah, I see lots of ravens. Recently, it's been lots of ravens. They've been pretty active recently. Hawks too, but if I go outside, there's a 50% chance I will see it, and stay outside for more than 15 minutes. There's a 50% chance I'll see a hawk or a raven. So almost always. No, they I bet you I have one here. Hold on. Just give me a second. Hopefully it doesn't hijack my sound, but I have one I've recorded. If I can only find it. Come on, here we go. Let's see. Here we go. All right, let me can you all still hear me? There's got to be a way I can Oh, you know what? Maybe I can I have to find a way to send this to myself. Let's see. This is really irritating. I don't because it's playing. I don't know if you can all hear this. I can hear it in my ears, but I can't. Yeah. I'm trying to if I only knew how to send this to myself. Oh, here we go. All right, I think I figured it out. Let me here we go. All right, hopefully this shows up on my screen. And oh, that's super annoying. All right, that's not going to work. My apologies that what the fuck? Excuse my language. All right. I thought it sent it off my phone. All right, let me try to send it to my email. Because I texted it to myself and it just decided it was not going to work. Here we go. All right, let's try this. Let's try one more time. Oh, brother. Okay, let's see if this works. Could you hear that? Hmm. I'm struggling to find this. Okay, let's try this. All right, we cannot do doing this. God damn it. No, I don't want this. So last thing I need is to get like this thing taken down because iTunes just started randomly playing freaking music. All right, did you guys hear anything? I certainly hope not, because this would have been a huge problem. It started playing like licensed music. All right, good. All right, I tried. Anyway, my apologies for wasting a ton of time trying to figure that out. Oh, I don't want to send this thing out. It's very faint. Let me see if I pull it up. Oh, brother. It's playing somewhere. I don't know where it's playing. I have to quit this so it doesn't start randomly freaking playing music that I don't have a license to. Let me see. Maybe if I open it with this. All right, this might work. Let's see. Here we go. All right, let's try this. Really, nothing? Nothing? You gotta love that it just decides not to share. Yeah, it's pretty. It was faint, but let's see. Yeah, maybe not. Oh, so you could hear. Yeah, it was very faint. I mean, I got Al videos out the wazoo, to be honest. Let me just pull something out if I can find it. I mean, I'll find it. It's just. What's the latest one? Yeah, I mean, this is like just about 2 months ago. I don't see them all the time, but I do hear them a lot. Can you all hear that? I mean, he only said something once, but here he goes again. And I'll probably find another one. I got plenty of these things. Again, all personal videos. Oh no, actually, I saw one sooner than 2 months ago. I saw one in November. Yeah, here we go. Bear with me again. This should be pretty quick. If I can only find my original window. Good Lord. All right, here we go. I'll just share it again. There you go. I just see owls. I don't, all right, I'm just going down the list. I'm not touching that. I don't condone what he did, but I can't say that the world is a worse place after he did it. Anyway. All right. I think yeah, I think he meets decent fellow. All right, all. I think given we're pretty close to Christmas, I think it's time to call it a night. So I appreciate you all. Thank you for hanging around and looking at random owl videos. But and you'll see them again. I've used them in future at least one of them in a future episode because it was relevant. So if I don't talk, I mean, well, I think there's one more episode, not episode, but one more live stream for the year on December 29th. So that's where we'll celebrate New Year's. But until then, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, and all that jazz. Happy Kwanzaa, Happy Festivus for the rest of us, all that all that good stuff. And if I don't see you on the 29th, because I will be on the radio then, I may or may not have a guest. We'll see. I might decide something last minute. We'll see what happens over the next few days. But I'm going to try to be contemplative. I'm thinking about the channel because I don't have any videos right now to edit. I have like my next interview, I think, is like not until January, unfortunately. So anyway, thank you all. God bless. Have a wonderful time and happy holidays with your families. Thank you again.
From thy holy face,